Hi guys, my name is Bailey, welcome to my online degree show event. I set up All Stories Matter last year when I was suffering with my mental health and I wanted to make a website where people could share their personal stories, download self-care materials and connect with each other. I was hoping to make a safe and supportive online community. I've suffered with anxiety and depression for many years, and it first began in school where I was heavily bullied for my sexuality. So when I left school, I shut myself off from the outside world. I dropped out of college, I was unemployed and I didn't leave my bedroom for nearly a year. But being creative and making art was something that always kept me going, but I never thought I would make it to university. So I moved to Manchester, a brand new city, and I began my degree. And again, I fell into the same patterns of being scared of the outside world. So for the first 2 years of my degree, I wasn't coping with my mental health in a positive way. So I knew I needed to make a change, which is when I began focusing my art on my mental health, my mental well-being, making positive message artwork, illustrations, graphic design, focusing on my mental well-being and making self-care materials to help myself and hopefully help other people. Through running All Stories Matter, I've been able to make some great connections, and I wanted to use this platform of the online degree show to shine a light on some of their stories. I asked them to talk about who they are and about why they set up their mental health pages. Please make sure to show them some love. I will link all of their accounts down below. You can check out my website, allstoriesmatter.co.uk, my Instagram, allstoriesmatter_, and my Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/allstoriesmatter. I'm constantly uploading positive message artwork and self-care materials. Yeah, so thanks for watching this video. Thanks for those who agreed to be in this video. I love all of the connections that I've made and the friendships as well. So yeah, please enjoy. I hope you do.
Hello, my name is Ava and I'm from the Instagram account Let's Mind Our Minds. I set up my mental health page a year and a half ago, and I set it up because I was very passionate about mental health, and I've always wanted to just help people and spread positivity and the awareness around mental health, which is a subject that is not spoken about enough. I'm from Ireland and I put up thoughts of the day every single day because I feel that a positive thought or quote just starts you off on the right foot every day. I put up posts about positivity and about helplines and that it's okay to ask for help. That's a big message that I share on my page, that it's okay to ask for help, because I don't think enough people know that it is okay to ask for help. With my mental health page, I share tips on how it helps me to cope with my mental health, and I learn a lot about how others cope with their mental health. For example, I set up my page and I found out my followers use music to cope with their mental health, and that's something that I do as well. So I asked all my followers to send in songs that they listen to when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're just having a bad day, and I compiled them all, and it's now a Spotify playlist. So it's called the Followers Playlist on Spotify. So yeah, I've learned a lot with my mental health page, and I've just met some amazing people. I have a lovely community there on Instagram. I'd love if you all check me out. I'd like to thank Bailey from Our Stories Matter for asking me to be involved in this, and yeah, have a lovely day.
Hi, I'm Emer and I'm the face behind Wellbeing Wishes Instagram page. The reason I set up this page was because many years ago when I left college and I started my job, my first big job, initially for the first 6 months I had a wonderful experience. It was really exciting and challenging, and you know, it helped me to grow up quite a lot. But unfortunately, after 6 months, I got a new boss, and turns out my boss was a bully, and this really affected my confidence. And over time, my mental health suffered hugely. Now, at the time, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have any tools or strategies that I could turn to, or I didn't know, you know, about all the struggles that are normal for everybody in the world. And so I just plodded on and I just tried to get on with things. Unfortunately, how this affected me was I used to go home from work, have my dinner and go to bed. Get up, go to work, go home, have my dinner and go to bed. I had very little enjoyment in life. I really struggled with, I suppose, everything, really everything. And eventually what happened was I became so stressed and burnt out that I actually ended up leaving my job on sick leave. And it was during this time that I discovered that actually it didn't have to be like that, that there were many, many things and tools that I could use and explore to help me to build up my confidence again and my well-being. And I suppose I'm so passionate about trying to promote positive mental health amongst young children at a young age, because I feel that maybe if I had had the knowledge I do now, that maybe I wouldn't have hit as rock bottom as I did. So that is the reason behind me setting up this page. And what it consists of is regular posts about different ways and different strategies and different things that we can teach our children and speak about with our children. And I suppose it's about opening up the conversation about that it's okay to not be okay. And, you know, here are a few things that we can put in our mental first aid kit, which is what I like to call it. It's something that if we're having a bad old run of things, a bad day, feeling sad, feeling down, feeling anxious, that we can turn to this first aid kit, open it up, and it might be a book that makes us feel really good about ourselves. You know, a self-help book or a self-care book. Maybe it's a journal, maybe it's mindful colouring, maybe it's cards and letters from friends telling you how, you know, much they care for you. Maybe it's photographs of people that make you feel good. Or it could also be just something like funny pictures. It could be your favourite DVD. It could be some music that you know makes you feel really, really good. And I suppose that is what I use nowadays anytime that I'm feeling, you know, challenging times or going through difficult periods. And I guess my passion is to just pass on the message that it is okay to not be okay, but there are ways that we can help ourselves. So I would love to hear from anybody, any other maybe tools and strategies that I've left out that I'd love to hear about and maybe add to my own ones. All right, so thanks, guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Jess. I met Bailey on Instagram through an Instagram community that we have set up for, well, one of our friends set it up, Ava, for mental health advocates, for people who want to slay the stigma around mental health. And yeah, when I heard that he was doing this project, I was so excited and I really wanted to support him in it, be involved, but also I was like a little bit anxious about it because it's about being honest. It's about letting my walls down to help somebody else. So Bailey, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this, and I really hope that this helps your project. So just a couple of things. Bailey has set out a couple of things just to help us kind of get through the video. One thing I will say just to start off is mental health is such an important thing to me personally. I would suffer quite a bit with anxiety, so please bear with me as we get through this video, because sometimes when I start talking it can just flow, and other times it can be a little bit sticky. So because I'm feeling a little bit nervous now, I'm just going to stick to what Bailey has set out and hope for the best. So I hope you all enjoy. So my first experience of mental health issues was when I was in my late teens. Thankfully I wasn't born with any serious mental health issues, or and not to take away from them, because they are quite important and they are really serious. And not to take away from anxiety either, because anxiety can be quite serious as well. But yeah, sorry, without babbling, I first experienced anxiety when I was in my late teens. I was in a very toxic, very abusive relationship, and what I didn't realise was that all of these things that were happening in the relationship were having a serious effect on my mental health. And when I was growing up, mental health issues were still quite, oh, if you have a mental health issue, you need to be signed into Vincent's, and, you know, you need to be on medication and blah, 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 blah. And again, please, this video, I am still learning about mental health issues, so my knowledge of the more serious ones that need medication, or the more serious ones that do need to be submitted, I am still learning about them. So please, nobody take offence to anything I say. So yeah, my first experience was actually a very ferocious panic attack. I was in a situation that I couldn't control. There was no way that I could control it, even if I wanted to. And the panic attack just really took over everything. My entire body, it took over the entire situation, and it just felt absolutely horrific. I've often seen, like, I remember after realising what my anxiety was, it was only starting to become noticed by society. It was only starting to be like, there was only bloggers and all were getting involved. So I started getting very critical. I started getting very frustrated with the world, because what I knew to be anxiety was completely different to what these bloggers were portraying anxiety to be. There were bloggers that were video recording themselves having a panic attack. And from my experience, the last thing I would want in my face while I'm having a panic attack is a camera. So I was faced with a lot of difficulties when I was starting to realise that what was going on for me was actually anxiety, because there was so much going on in the world. There was so much recognition, but there was also a lot of people being paid to have panic attacks, and that really affected me and really threw me off my healing journey. And unfortunately, it took longer for me to get to where I am today. But I'm thankful for that experience, because it has got me to where I am today. So that was my first experience with mental health issues, a panic attack, followed by seeing bloggers video record themselves on Instagram having panic attacks. Okay, how did mental health affect your past? So my past was a very tough past. I had the most amazing childhood. I grew up a very strong, very confident young woman, and I was on fire for God. So that's one thing you need to know about me. I'm a Christian. I was born and raised a Christian. Now, I did veer off path quite a lot, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, oh sorry, I've lost where I am now. How did mental health affect your past? So it affected me in ways that only now I can look back on and realise that, oh my goodness, like, why did I stay there? Why did I allow myself to stay in that situation? But what I've learned is not to regret it, to reflect on those situations and realise that I survived them. So my anxiety would look like me lying on the floor for the whole day of a Saturday, not wanting to speak to anybody, the blinds pulled, in utter darkness, silence, just a complete shell of a human. Other ways that anxiety affected my past were, it was almost like an OCD thing, but it wasn't OCD, it was fear. That relationship that I was in was very toxic and very abusive, as I said, and there was a lot of expectations, a lot of things that I had to do in order to keep this other person happy and not come home and abuse me, or yeah, we'll leave that one there. So my anxiety, it was quite heightened all of the time. I was always on edge. I was always a second away from crying, but at the same time had to try and maintain my strength to get through it. There was a lot of lying and cheating in that relationship as well, which affected my self-image. which then added onto the anxieties and the mental health issues. And yeah, it was a very tough, very difficult part of my life. But as I have learned, when I reflect on it now, I'm thankful for the experience, because it's made me the woman I am today. It's made me capable to sit in front of a camera and do this project with Bailey, to be able to help and encourage other women, other men who are in that same situation that I was in all those years ago, to get out of them, to show them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, to show them that their anxieties that's not the be all and end all of who you are as a person. It's a part of who you are, and it can be fixed in a way. And what I mean by that is not that it's just a click of the fingers and all your anxieties go away, because I still to this day suffer with anxieties from time to time. I've gotten a lot better at it because I've come up with strategies to help myself in those situations, and I've put time and effort into me growing as a person, into my healing process. And that's something that I would highly recommend to anybody who is suffering with any sort of mental health issues. So yeah, how does it affect me now? Like, I would still from time to time, and it would be very rare compared to what it was all those years ago, have major panic attacks. Thankfully, I am in the most amazing relationship at the moment with my new boyfriend, who is so supportive, so encouraging, and just so gentle towards my anxieties and my insecurities. And having him there, he's just like a calming factor over me. So if he sees me fidgeting, that's how I know that there's something going on for me, or I'm going to start getting anxious about something. I could have absolutely no reason to feel anxious, but as soon as I feel myself fidgeting, I know, okay, I'm going to start coming up with scenarios now to be anxious about, and I have no reason to do that. So that's when I know that there's something wrong. And to help that, I will either sit and journal. And I know everyone is like, oh, journaling, like everyone says to do that. But genuinely, if you're not a writer and you just sit down for 2 minutes and write out 2 lines about how you feel, it's the fact that you're getting it out. You're getting it off your chest. Sometimes when you see it written on paper, it can really help to bring light to it, and you can see clearer how you're feeling, and you can challenge those feelings, but bring yourself back to a better feeling, if that makes sense. So yeah, having Wayne around, he knows my tics, he knows my triggers, and he knows how to calm me down, which is fantastic. So he would be one of the biggest parts of how I would tackle my mental health. My parents have been fantastic. They know some things that would trigger me, and they can hear it in my voice when something's wrong. So they know to either push that feeling and to try and pull the emotions out of me, or else they can hear it in me that I just don't want to talk about it. And it's fantastic, because having that support network around you is so important. When you know that you can pick up the phone and not talk, when you know that you can just sit on the couch and be silent, or when you know that if you really need to get something off your chest, that those people or that person is going to sit there and listen and take you for face value and help you see clearer, help you get a better picture of what's really going on for you. I also colour. I love to be creative, so I colour quite a lot when I am feeling anxious. I go for walks. I find that being by the sea helps me quite a lot. Just by getting out there and just seeing how big something is makes me feel, not like, doesn't take away from what my feelings are, but it makes me feel that little bit better, knowing that there's so much more going on in the world, and that sometimes that can be a little bit triggering, but mostly it's quite calming, because I can see that the sea is a lot bigger than I am. It's a lot bigger than what my problems are. And then that brings me back to my faith of, well, if the sea is bigger, then whoever created the sea is a lot bigger, which means that my God is bigger than my problems. So he can help me with my problems. So that would lead me then to prayer. I would pray a lot, and that would help me a lot with my anxieties and my mental health issues. Yeah, so prayer and meditation would be huge for me in battling my anxieties. That now leads me to Illuminaire. So Illuminaire is a place that I have set up. It's online, it's a blog, it's on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and WordPress, and it's just a place where I share how I'm feeling, but in a way that I know is going to help somebody else. So it's not just me venting about my day. It's me taking life situations, coming up with strategies to try and help me get out of that situation. And therefore, if it helped me, maybe it'll help somebody else. So that's what I would mostly write about and blog about. Illuminaire is a place. My whole idea behind Illuminaire was that if it only ever helps one person, then it's done its job. And basically it's to live life in the light. That's the tagline of it, is living life in the light. And I want to encourage people to live their lives in the light as well, and not to be surrounded by this darkness of feeling guilty or shame or stress or pressure or anxiety or insecurities, to get rid of the darkness of all of those things and to walk in the light, to walk in your true purpose, to walk in happiness and positiveness, and be able to have strategies and to have things to do to be able to tackle your anxieties and tackle your panic attacks before they even happen, to just cancel them out. So that's what Illuminaire is all about. If you would like to know more about it, or if you'd like to have a conversation about anxieties, I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Bailey, thank you so much again for allowing me to do this. And oh my goodness, it's 15 minutes long. I am sorry for babbling. I hope somebody gets something from this video, and yeah, hope you all do great in your projects and have a fantastic day. Chat soon.